You know, while Nigerians are reeling under the jinxed politics of petroleum product supply regime, the House of Representatives has ordered security agents to clamp down on marketers hoarding petrol. The House of Reps Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream Midstream gave the not too palatable order on Wednesday. Now, the late German scientist Albert Einstein had said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that created them." But first, let's share the story by Joke Adisa with you. So let's go there now.
The return of queues across gas stations in parts of the country caught many citizens unawares. Motorists now spend as long as 3 hours or more to get fuel in their vehicles, while those that cannot withstand the stress of winding queues resort to buying from street hawkers, popularly known as black marketers, who now sell between 1,000 naira and 1,500 naira per litre of petrol. This has led to a hike in commercial transport and many commuters stranded at bus stops. Members of the Joint Committee say they have engaged with relevant authorities on the cause of the lingering scarcity. The leadership confirms the availability of 1.5 billion litres of petrol that will last the country for another 30 days. It calls for calm as the legislators identify transport challenge as the leading factor for the scarcity.
These logistics issues range from difficulty experienced in transporting product from the mother vessels to onshore, movement of product with marine shuttle vessels, and disruption in the scrubbers channels which have all been cleared.
We have engaged sufficiently with the appropriate authorities in terms of fuel distribution. And as of today, the report we are getting suggests that the fuel queues have started reducing and product have started arriving at the petrol stations. We urge Nigerians not to engage in panic buying, not to be immersed in an unnecessary rush to buy products.
They also want the government to wield the big stick against hoarders and saboteurs.
We strongly frown at the activities of middlemen who have taken advantage of the short disruption of supply to maximize profits and generate inordinate gain for themselves at the detriment of our people. We call on security agencies to support the NNPCL, NNDPRA, Petrol, NATO, and other key stakeholders in the distribution value chain so as to ensure that such act of economic sabotage that has to do with hoarding, arbitrary increment in price, product diversion, and smuggling are detected and dealt with.
The Joint Committee assures Nigerians it will continue to keep tabs on the relevant agencies to guarantee the availability of petrol at the various gas stations in the country. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
Many thanks, Joke. Paul, sometimes you cannot but wonder why Nigeria, the second largest producer of crude and gas in Africa after Gabon, can't be reeling like this.
Honestly, we are the proverbial that the son of the child of a meat monger that eats bones.
Yeah,
it's very bad, and this is a recurring story with us. It's not new. Fuel scarcity. Sometimes people create artificial scarcity. They hoard fuel and all of that. And the same thing, Ikenga said that, look, they've talked to stakeholders. They have so number, quantity of fuel that can last for 30 days. We keep hearing all of this. The problem is that Nigerians are the ones harming Nigeria. Many times, a lot of people sit down and they blame those in power for this and that. The truth of the matter is those in power are also Nigerians. There are many Nigerians, if you give them the opportunity to taste power, they will be very cruel. They will even be worse than some of the people that are holding the reins of power now. Now, why would you hoard fuel? Now, I'm very, very much interested. Among the stakeholders that were spoken to are the members of the association of the retail outlets No. Those that own the petrol stations. Now, what are they doing to talk to their members? You know, in the past, we've seen in the days of DPR, you see DPR move into petrol stations and then start selling and all of that. Is it not, for me, if you want to stop these people, apart from the fact that you have all these challenges with logistics that they're talking about, if you really want to effectively stop this from happening, what is happening now, the Association of Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners should also do something, talk to their members, and stop making life difficult for Nigerians. Stop making life difficult for Nigerians. We have, if it is true that we have abundance of fuel that can last us for 30,
they say 1.5,
1.5, I think 1.5 billion liters, if I'm not wrong.
Can last another 30 days.
Yes, so there is no reason people should
be reeling,
because you are speculating that something will happen to the fuel price or something. And then, because people speculate, and then you start ordering the fuel. You see long queues of vehicles, see people with jerry cans. And then, for those that use jerry cans even suffer more, because in some places, they will collect a whole keg. After you've bought your, if you're not driving, if you go with your keg, and then maybe you already bought 1,000 naira per liter, you now pay extra 200 naira for a whole keg. You know, what's all of this? You know, it's the whole big mess that you need to...
And you are talking about not just 10 kegs.
Many.
Tens of kegs.
And even sometimes 1 liter is not even 1 liter. You know how they do it. So, it's terrible. CKN,
as it is now, Ipman on the one hand, buck passing with the NNPCL. You know, the NNPC is saying, NNPCL is saying logistics problem. But Ipman, right?
Yes, Ipman.
He's saying government is owing it how many billions? You know, until they pay. They won't pack it all in yet.
Citizen, first and foremost, let's establish this. I don't believe NNPC. I personally, I don't believe NNPC.
Do you believe anybody here?
NNPC, I don't believe NNPC. I don't trust NNPC. We've had this story time and time again, and that's what NNPC tells you. Isn't that there's a place where they archive their press statements, and once we start having issues, they just bring it out and just change the date and throw it out. NNPC will always tell you that we have 1 trillion barrels of or whatever liters of petroleum assets here. But if at NNPC stations you go, you can't see the fuel. Now, Ipman, when this thing started, Ipman came out with a statement. They were on TVC, the secretary or who, and said that for over 2 weeks that they paid for this product they couldn't get. No supply from NNPC. Now, NNPC, the problem we have is that NNPC is the sole body that brings the petroleum product into Nigeria.
Can we interrogate that?
Yes.
Is that proper?
That is not. That's what I'm going to.
Okay.
That is the only. They are the only ones that bring in petroleum products into the independent marketers don't. So what they do is that they rely on NNPC to bring in the products they buy from NNPC, and you ask yourself why all this. The third one is that until we treat the fundamental problems, number one, which is making sure that our refineries are working. Until we make sure that these refineries are working, we will continue. We'll solve this one now. In the next 2-3 months, we'll go back to school. The problem is that until our refineries start working and we start producing, we are the only country, probably only country in the world that have crude oil in large quantity, export crude oil, and import petroleum products. We're a big player in OPEC. And most of the time, people say, government has no business in this, and I say no. It's not every time. Aramco is the biggest oil company in the world. It is owned by the Saudi Arabian government. Yeah. And I'm sure you've seen videos of the control room of Aramco. It's all over. Google it, you see it. Where they sit, technology, and see every drop of crude oil that is coming out of their well, and how it's being pushed. The same thing pushed out. So the question is that why is it that our refineries are not working? Why is it that we are not able to have this thing? And I believe, and my personal opinion is that there are some people within the oil sector that just don't want this thing to work. And until we be able to tackle that, the Governor Seriake Dristin of Bayelsa State, a few days ago, came out and he was the former governor of Bayelsa State, an oil producer, and he make a categorical statement that some people, some so-called big people, quote and unquote, in Abuja and Lagos are behind the oil theft in Niger Delta. Have you interrogated that?
Okay.
So those are the issues as it were. We cannot continue to import petroleum products. We will always run into problems. Let us fix our refineries and most of these issues of logistics and the rest will be settled.
CKN, but we can now make some money by going on a commercial break.
Let us go.
All right, we'll go on a commercial break. We should be back very shortly. Please stay with us. All right, we're back. We must sound our man BKO out again. Jide, if you are there, we want you to weigh in on this matter.
Yeah, I'm really distressed that a country that is among the 7 biggest crude oil producers in the world is unable to refine petroleum products. Some countries of the world actually have enough refineries, and they set aside some of those refineries simply for refining product for export. The remaining ones will be for refining product for domestic consumption. That is what Venezuela does. That is what Saudi Arabia does. We were unable to add to our refineries, and we left these refineries to rot for more than 20 years. Because it's convenient to simply bring in product from other countries. Some countries that do not even have deposits of the black gold, they have refineries. We actually go there to bring in petrol, PMS. So it's a terrible thing that despite having crude oil in abundance, we are importing petrol and we are making our people suffer. This is already a very difficult time for Nigerians. We are making them to buy petrol at 1,500 naira per liter. It's crazy. This sort of things shouldn't be happening. People are suffering. The suffering is enough. It's like putting the heads of our people in guillotines. It's terrible. And some people are feeding fat out of this. In our country, when this sort of thing happens, you see people rushing to take advantage of the situation. They don't even want this pain to end. So we need to make examples of people who are hoarding, no matter how big they are. Economic saboteurs, people diverting petrol meant for some communities, diverting them across the border. We need to punish such people. If we don't punish people, they will not stop their abhorrent behavior.
Yeah, sorry, Jide. So are you on the same page with the House of Reps committee that's ordering a clampdown?
Yes, because we are not saying that you see there is scarcity caused by the inefficiency of NNPCL. But that scarcity, the pain has been worsened by the behavior of some people who have chosen to hoard, who have chosen to smuggle, who have chosen to divert product. Because what happens is petrol that leaves the depot meant for a particular community, people refuse, they just sell at in another community where they know that they will earn more money and they won't have to spend so much diesel. For example, some product meant to go all the way to the north, they sell some of them in the south once they are offered money. A lot of these tanker drivers do this. So diversion is economic sabotage. And people should be made to pay for that. Smuggling and hoarding, these are all behaviors that we need to
They are
punish in
all
our
the
country.
economic crimes, yeah.
Yes, these are economic crimes that we need to punish. When we punish, and people can see that we punish, the people involved in such acts, they will stop. Why are people not freely spraying money now? They've seen that we try to make example of Bobrisky and Kubana Chief. These are very popular people. So once you make examples of big people, then the rest of them will sit back and say, no, I don't want to be caught. I don't want to be embarrassed. That is the thing. I support the House of Reps. I appreciate their intervention in this mess, but we need to punish bad behavior.
Okay. Many thanks. Thank you.
Yes, yes, I very much agree with what BKO said. Do you remember the time that some fuel importers, so-called fuel importers, were, taken to court? They were not importing anything, and then they're taken to court, and they're being made example of. In this particular country, there must be punishment for bad behavior. We must see that people are actually being punished. We talk about people hoarding fuel. We talk about sabotage. There's too much of sabotage in the system, even right from the top. Like CK said, everything he said, what he said is very valid. So from the top, even to...
That I consider this. When the 1967 Seven-Day War, if you remember, started in the Middle East.
Yes.
Oil-producing countries made money, including Nigeria.
Yeah.
But now there's wahala, there are skirmishes in the Middle East.
Yeah.
We expect we will make money. We are not going to.
That is something that actually bothers us. We should have taken advantage of that. But like we said, Nigeria produces much, what's it called now? Crude, but we cannot refine. You heard BK say that some countries refine for the purpose of what? Export, and then refine for what? Domestic consumption. Okay. This is where we should be. I've been telling these stories. Now.
All right. Paul, we'll go to our next story, but let me tease you here. Yeah. I had thought that the Petroleum Industry Act was going to be a silver bullet, but here we are.
Exactly, the PIA. The PIA was supposed to be the silver bullet, but at the end of, despite knowing, what we went through to get that, over 20 years. Yeah. And at the end of it all, we thought that was going to be a Dorado for us. Yeah. But it doesn't seem to be working.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be working at all. So it's quite unfortunate. Then, apart from, finally, do you also know that we cannot meet our OPEC quota in exporting our crude?
Yeah.